Welcome to the Traditional Way Podcast. I'm Brett Shumway. We are brought to you by the Martial Arts Center Network. Please follow us on our social media pages and on our website at www.mainternetwork.com. Additionally, we're sponsored by the K-Talk Nationals that is occurring this upcoming weekend in New York City. You can get all of the information on their website at www.ktocnationals.com. With all the individual events for the veterans complete for the year, on this episode, I'm going to break down the final standings and discuss those athletes that find themselves atop the leaderboard. Now, there can be some debate on the point system. I, for one, am not a fan, right? I don't like any organization that awards titles based on points. However, there are many who do, and I think the WKF finds a good way to compromise in mixing this up, right? So, for example, the grand winner in the Premier League is based on points earned throughout that season, the annual season anyway. But at the same time, continental and world titles have to be won on the day of the event. Look, I get there's nothing that's going to make everyone happy, but I do think that this is a good way to mix both systems and make it work for everyone. Additionally, I'm going to preview and make my predictions for the Karate World Cup, which is the Team World Championships that is occurring in Pamplona, Spain, coming up this weekend as well. Let's start with the women's rankings from 2024. Taking a look at the minus 50 kilogram division, where we start with an odd one. Natalia Vargova comes in 5th, but most of those points are from last year and she did not win a single event in 2024. She did, however, participate in a ton, giving her some points toward her overall total. The number 4 this year is this year's European champion Emma Scardelli, who has been super active in her last year of being able to do both the veterans and the U21 divisions, where she earned a silver medal at the Youth World Championships. Her climb in the division has been noted before, as she continues to be one to watch. Reem Salama stays in the number 3rd position, as most of her points are still coming off that incredible run that she had last year. Unfortunately, she has cooled off in 2024, and we will see if she regains her form in 2025 as the World Championships bronze medalist looks to get back on track. Moldir Jangerbey stays in the number 2 spot, as she has medaled in every Premier League event of 2024. She did, however, not have her best performance at the Asian Continental Championships to end the year, but she's always in the mix as the reigning world champion continues to perform well. And the top spot this year goes to Yorgalis Salazar, who has been one of the top stars in this division for a while. However, last year's injury at Antalya took her out of the running for the grand winner due to having missed the next event. But she has been on a run that is incredible, medaling in her last 15 events going all the way back to 2022. In the minus 55 kilogram division, Luisa Abarici comes in at number 5 as the African Continental Champion, looks to make her name for herself in this division. She did have a Premier League bronze this year, but is still looking for more consistency. Number 4 is Maria Stoli, who has moved up in this division in the past 2 years, coming out of the Series A at the beginning of the year, and her best performance so far was the silver that she won in Cairo's Premier League event earlier this year. This year's Premier League grand winner, Valentina Toriel Meneses, is in the 3rd spot as she took home 2 golds in the Premier League this year. However, ending her year with a loss at the Series A event, we will have to wait and see if she can get back to form in 2025. Now, the world number 2 spot goes to European champion Mia Beitsch, who showed a lot of promise at the beginning of the year, but stalled as of late, as she also lost at the Series A and when in the elimination round at the Youth World Championships in the U21 division. A lot of people thought that she was going to be the one to take over this division, but we haven't seen the consistency out of her as of late. And the world number 1 remains Angelica Toluga. Now, I have reported that 2024 was not her year. As a matter of fact, she didn't have a single medal this year, which is odd as she's been so dominant for so long and her points carried over. But now that she's pregnant and her points are on the 15-month period hold that is allowed by the rules, she will lose the top spot in 2025 at some time, but she finished out 2024 still on top of the leaderboard. The African Championship silver medalist, Wafa Majoub, ends up in the 5th spot in the minus 61 kilogram division, as her bronze from Paris this year helped move her up into the top 5. Just edging her out was Asel Kane, the Asian Continental Championship silver medalist, who was able to also secure a bronze in the Premier League this year. The third spot finds Mariam Ajarai, who started off the year by winning the Series A event and ended the year by also winning the last Series A event. In between, she earned a Premier League silver from Antalya, which is not a bad showing in her first full year as a veteran, moving out of the U21 divisions this year. The number 2 spot finds Li Gong, having the best year of her career. The reigning world champion won the Asian Championships this year and the only Premier League event that she did attend. She's clearly found a home in the minus 61 kilogram division after leaving the minus 68 kilogram division in 2023. And the world number 1, Reem Khamis, stays atop as she continues to be the most active fighter in this division. Another a grand winner status for her in 2024 as she continues to plug away. She did earn her first Premier League gold medal this year, which was the highlight for her. Alizé Algier finds herself in the 5th spot of the minus 68 kilogram division after her win at the European Championships this year. She has not had the best performances on the Premier League this year, but the former world champion is still one to watch as she shows up when titles are on the line. Tsubasa Kama came on strong early in this year as the young athlete looks to establish herself in a very tough division, ending up in the 4th position. She did not finish well as she did not medal at the Asian Championships or at the Youth World Championships in the U21 division, but she's still young and we will see where 2025 takes her. The number 3 spot goes to Talia Sombre, who has been very busy this year. In her last year doing both the veterans and U21 divisions, taking home a gold and a bronze in the Premier League, she also medaled in both Serie A event that she did this year. The top 2 spots in this division have not changed for a while, right? Elena Corsi remains in the number 2 position, even though she has been absolutely dominant this year. But her dominance has to do with the absence of the world number 1, Irina Zaretska, who hasn't been active since claiming her 3rd world championship last year. And what may be the best planned in time pregnancy I've ever seen, her points right now are still in that 15-month freeze period until she returns. And what I mean by planned is she used the new format of the world championships to her advantage, right? Because she's already in for 2025 because she's the reigning champion. And with 2 years between the worlds, she was able to have her baby get back on track for next year's worlds. As you can see, if you follow her on social media, she is already back to training and we should see a return next year. The over 68 kilogram division has Cleo Ferracuti in the 5th spot to end the year, having some success early in this year with a bronze medal at the Premier League. She hasn't found the podium as of late and still holding on to points from her bronze from last year's World Championships. The other bronze medalist from the Worlds, Mena Okila, is in the 4th position as the African champion has some success at the Continental Championships, but really hasn't found her footing in the Premier League as she hasn't medaled there since 2022. In the 3rd spot is Joanna Kinnear, who has had a pretty good 2024, taking 4 golds in 6 events this year. More importantly, she has been beating the number 2 when they match up, so I don't see her staying in the 3rd spot for long. Number 2 is Maria Garcia, who won her first Premier League of the year and took some silvers home in the next 2. She is active enough to keep her ranking, but she hasn't been the most consistent towards the end of the year. The world number 1 is Sofia Borotselva, who is the most active in this division, and even though she has not taken a gold since last year, she has medaled in every event in 2024 and holds a very slight lead over the number 2 and 3 ranked fighters. The first event of next year will determine the world number 1 spot in this division, and we'll see where it goes after that. In the female kata division, we start with Sakura Komai in 5th spot. The multi-year Pan-American champion is consistently making the final 8 at the Premier League events, and she has been a mainstay in the top 10 rankings for a very long time, as she is the most active athlete within the WKF. The number 4 spot sees Marisa Houchi move up as the young star attempts to make her move in this division. She found the podium twice this year in the Premier League, just not on the top of it. Number 3 is Kiri Mishima, who has climbed up the rankings super fast. She broke into the WKF last year, and in only 7 events under her belt, she has 5 golds. The issue for her is that she hasn't been able to compete in any continental championships because another Japanese woman has that honor, and only one per country may attend that event. And who has that? Who is that other competitor? The world number 2, Maho Ono, who has medaled in every event in 2024, including 2 golds in the Premier League. And she is looking to improve on 2024 and challenge for more top spots in 2025. And the world number 1 really needs no introduction. Grace Lau of Hong Kong has taken that spot at the end of 2023 and hasn't given it up. Let's not just look at 2024. How about she has not been to an event where she has not medaled since January of 2020. That is 21 events in a row where she has medaled. What else needs to be said? She is on a run that nobody else can touch in this division. Starting off for the men, Kaiser Alpesby is in the 5th spot in the minus 60 kilogram division after a 2024 that saw him take home 2 bronzes in the Premier League. However, he ended the year with a lackluster performance at the Asian Championships. Iray Samdam started off the year hot as he took the first Premier League gold of the year and a silver in the second, but the rest of his year fizzled out for him as he ends up in the number 4 spot. Christos Xenos falls to number 3 at the end of the year, as even though he won the European Championships and won 2 bronzes in the Premier League, the top 2 competitors in the division have pulled away with their performances. Let's start with number 2, Odula Shaban, who didn't do that much better than Xenos, but in the events where Xenos took 7th, Shaban took 5th, giving him enough points overall to edge him out and take the number 2 spot. Hiromu Hashimoto takes the top spot at the end of the year, having won 2 golds and 2 silvers in his 5 events of this year, making him the most consistent winner in this division, which remains easily one of the most competitive divisions within the WKF. In the minus 67 kilogram division, Vinicius Figueira comes in at number 5 with a resurgent year where he would win the Series A event in the beginning of the year and take home the Pan American title, getting back to levels we haven't seen out of him since 2021. Now, the number 4 spot finds Didar Amirali, who you would think would have had a big year following his 2023 performance, but has not had the success in 24 that he did previously and not seen a podium all year. We can look to see if he can regain form for 2025. Yugo Kosaki was in the position to have a great year this year after his win in the Premier League, his last Premier League event of 2023, and did him find himself on the podium with a silver and a couple of bronzes this year, finding himself coming up just short on the big wins though. The way Saeed Obaya started off the year, you would have thought that he was the one to take over the division, capturing 2 golds and a silver in the Premier League and the grand winner status. However, he would end up in the number 2 spot as the world number 1, Abdel Almasafa, had his number beating Saeed in both of their matches. Abdel would end up taking gold in all 3 of the events he attended this year. The minus 75 kilogram division was a little lopsided this year as one man would dominate the division, but the number 5 spot found Enos Bullet holding strong with his silver from Paris and a bronze from the European Championships. The number 4 spot saw his countryman Omar Ur slide in that spot as his pair of silvers on the Premier League were enough to move him up as the young star looks to make a name for himself within the division. Nurkanat Ajikanov ends up in the number 3 spot as he repeated as the Asian champion and had a pair of bronze medals in the Premier League. Enzo Berthian ends up in the 2nd spot as he found the podium twice at the end of this year with a silver and a bronze. He wasn't as active this year, sticking to just the Premier League and riding his points from 2023 to remain in this position. We will have to see if he steps it up in 2025 if he wishes to remain atop the standings. And the world number 1, Abdallah Abdelaziz, I'm not sure what else needs to be said about this guy. He's killed it over the past 2 years. He is the reigning world champion, and his current gold medal streak is at 7 events. Right now, honestly, I'm not sure who's going to step up and beat him in this division, or if anyone is going to be able to right now. In the minus 84 kilogram division, Valerai Chopatar ends up in the 5th position, winning a gold on the Premier League this year and taking the bronze at the European Championships. We will have to wait to see how his 2025 goes, as the past couple of years have been a little hit or miss for him. Number 4, Rikita Shimada was pretty middle of the pack most of the year in these competitions, yet he did win the Asian title at the end of the year to move him up. The young star is looking for a little bit more consistency atop the podium in the future. Another rising star, Konstantinos Mastrogiannis, ends up in the number 3 spot, as he was able to secure the European title and 2 Premier League medals this year. But the top 2 are the story of this division, and they have went back and forth all year. Let's start with the number 2 ranked Youssef Badawi. He is the reigning world champion and beat the world number 1 in Italia. He's also the African continental champion for this year. But in the end, he came up short as the world number 1, Mohammed Al-Jafari, who returned the favor by beating Badawi in Cairo. This young star needs a little bit more seasoning if he wants to hold on to the top spot. He ended up the year with a disappointing silver at the Youth Worlds in the U21 division and took a bronze at the Asian Championships. But he's still young. Once he figures it out, I think he will have a long stint atop of this division. In the over 84 kilogram division, Rizvan Talibov comes on strong in his last 2 events, taking gold in both. But it has been a pretty up and down year for him throughout 2024. And he had a couple of wins. He came into 2024, off a couple of wins from 2023, so we expected more of him, but it looks like he's on the same pace. So he needs to break that cycle for 2025 if he wants to move out of that number 5 spot. The number 4 spot goes to Angelo Kovacic after he won the European title this year and brought home a gold medal in the Premier League this year as well. The number 3 position belongs to Anes Bostancic, who found the podium 3 out of the 4 events this year. He did not see the top of the podium, but a silver and a couple bronzes does keep him in the top of the division. The world number 2, Saleh Abazari, came out of nowhere to climb into the number 2 spot, as he spent most of his time in the Series A this year, but winning the Asian Continental title at the end of the year really made a jump for him in the standings. We will see if he can stay there as he enters the Premier League in 2025 on a more consistent basis. And the number 1 spot remains with Taha Tariq Mahmoud, who has not missed a podium since 2021. Although he did not win as many golds as he has in the past, this year, he was in the finals in almost every event he attends. I expect he will remain there in 2025. Now moving on to one of the most stacked divisions within the WKF, the men's kata division. Starting off with Kazumoto in the number 5 spot. He's always in the mix and has not missed a quarterfinal since 2019. And he always has a chance to upset the athletes above him. But by only taking home a bronze this year, he ends up in 5th. The number 4 spot goes to Ryusei Ikeda, who started off this year in the Series A, and after winning the first event of the year, has moved into the Premier League. He has stalled since he moved up, but he does remain one to watch in the future and see what he's going to do in 2025. Now, the reigning world champion Ali Sofoglu moves down into the number 3 spot after winning the European title, but not securing another gold this year. He still took home a silver and a bronze on the Premier League to not drop further, but he hasn't had the consistency that we would hope for after bringing home the world title last year. And moving up the leaderboard into the number 2 spot, Ariel Torres, who only had 1 slip up this year at Casablanca. Other than that, he saw a podium at every other event he attended and the Pan American title. The world number 1 is no surprise, Kakuro Nishiyama, who has been perfect in 2024, going 5 for 5 at the events. It is obvious that he is on a warpath to take that world title in 2025, as everyone pretty much projected that he was going to win it in 2023. 2025 is going to be a very interesting year in this division, and let's see how it ends up. As the Karate World Cup approaches, let's discuss the event. The format will be 20 teams in 4 pools competing in a round-robin format. The draws have already been decided, and the pools are already set. In the female team Kumite, for me, I think the final 4 of this is going to come down to Egypt, Germany, Italy, and France. I believe Germany has the best chances to win. They got a squad of Mia Beich, Joanna Kinnear, Sarah Rubik, and Reem Kamis. I think with that lineup, they have the best chance to win. For the men's Kumite pools, I got to think the final 4 are going to come down to Iran, France, Egypt, and Jordan. Now, I got to believe this is Egypt's to lose. They have more world number 1s on their squad than anybody else. But my pick for this division, I want to pick an upset here, and I think Iran may have a chance to pull it out. They have a great program, and it would not surprise me, but I don't think many people are expecting them to win. In the female team kata division, the pools have already been drawn, and my picks for the Final Four are Japan, Spain, Italy, and Egypt. Now, I'm going to go with a surprise pick here again. I think everyone's expecting Japan will win this, but I think Italy's going to surprise some people and pull this out. I think they've been in the mix for a while, and they're ready to win team gold. Male team kata pools, looking at the way that they have been drawn, I've got to say the Final Four are going to be Italy, Spain, Turkey, and Japan. And honestly, I can't pick an upset here, guys. Japan's going to win this whole thing. The JKS Shotokan team of the Moto brothers and Aramoto are just too good to lose. They've been together for so long. They train their forms to perfection. I just don't see them losing. I think the harder pick is the pick for silver, and I got to go with the home country of Spain taking home that silver medal. With that, I want to thank all of you for watching another episode of the Traditional Way podcast. Join me on the next episode where I'll bring you the results from the Karate World Cup. We hope to see you all at K-Talk Nationals on November 24th, and continue to support the Martial Arts Internet Network with all of our program and on our social media pages. Until next time, guys.